NCTE is celebrating more than a decade of unprecedented change and progress for transgender people. Last year at this time, we were celebrating our 100th win at the federal level. We couldn't believe how much we had accomplished already, but we didn't slow down. Under a friendly Obama administration, NCTE really demonstrated our advocacy influence, working on more than 150 federal law and policy changes that are already helping to improve the lives of transgender people. NCTE fought to secure regulations that made it illegal for health providers and insurance companies to discriminate against trans people. We helped make history with new U.S. Department of Education guidance affirming the rights of trans students. And we kept going. NCTE advocated with HUD to create guidance that ensures federally funded homeless shelters protect homeless trans people. NCTE and movement partners advocated to lift the transgender service ban, allowing anyone who is willing and able to serve in the armed forces to serve without lying about who they are. NCTE partnered with the Department of Justice to create a training video for law enforcement on how to best respectfully and safely interact with the transgender community. NCTE will continue to be at the forefront when it comes to advocating for federal policy changes. In the past year, we've made major strides to advance trans rights at the highest levels of government. We are not done. We will not stop. We will continue to fight until every single trans person is free from disrespect, discrimination, and violence. NCTE has also ramped up our work at the state and local levels. In the last year, NCTE has helped win 10 administrative policies in 7 states, improving trans people's ability to update identification documents, ease access to trans-inclusive health insurance and health care, and to expand non-discrimination protections for trans people in those states. And we continue to update our one-of-a-kind Identity Document Center, which helps trans people find state-specific information on how to update their driver's licenses, birth certificates, and other records. And trans people are using it, with more than 57,000 views in the past year. In 2016, NCTE saw an unprecedented number of state-level attacks on trans people, and then again in 2017. We have fought more than 100 anti-trans bills in the last 2 years, and thanks to your advocacy through NCTE State Action Center, we beat almost every single one of them. Thank you. We're showing the whole country that protecting transgender people's access to restrooms and locker rooms does not endanger the safety or privacy of anybody else. And to make that point even stronger, we led a sign-on letter with 300 sexual assault and domestic violence prevention experts who are supporting trans-inclusive laws. We all know that the most important thing that all trans people in our families do is to educate people, is to tell our stories. That's why NCTE has created our Community Storytelling Project, where we work with hundreds of trans people and their families to share their stories with their neighbors, their classmates, at school board meetings, and with their elected representatives. NCTE created a web resource with general information about transgender people that has been viewed almost 50,000 times in the last year. We worked with movement partners to run an ad during the Republican and Democratic National Conventions, and our Introduction to Transgender People video went viral and has been viewed over 3.4 million times. None of this could have happened without those of you who have been willing to share your story. And nearly 28,000 of you shared your experiences with NCTE through the U.S. Trans Survey. The release of the U.S. Trans Survey is among our greatest accomplishments in the past year. The data we collected from you will build awareness to create trans-inclusive law and policy changes for years to come. Though things may have changed politically over the past year, NCTE's mission remains the same. We fight to end discrimination. We fight to end violence against transgender people. And we will always fight to move transgender rights forward together. The election in November has forced NCTE to defend our gains and resist attempts to roll back the progress for which we worked so hard. We oppose the Trump administration's systematic assault on the civil rights of not only LGBT people, but religious minorities, people of color, women, people with disabilities, immigrants, people living in poverty, and others. NCTE has stood with Muslims against the Muslim ban. We have stood with immigrants against the border wall. NCTE staff has braved 20-degree cold at Reverend Barber's Moral Monday March against Trump's cabinet of bigotry. And we commit to moving forward together with partners across the civil rights and social justice movement. When the Trump administration comes for any one of us, NCTE will always stand in solidarity against oppression. We created our Fight Back National Action Center, where trans people, our families, and other allies can find ways to take action to resist discrimination. We fought hard to oppose the nominations of Betsy DeVos, Ben Carson, Tom Price, Jeff Sessions, and Neil Gorsuch, and we beat the nomination of bigot Mark Green to be Secretary of the Army, proving that calling your representatives really works.
No matter what happens, no one, not even the government, can defeat a community so full of life, color, diversity, and most importantly, love.
Amen. When Attorney General Sessions and Secretary DeVos rescinded the Department of Education guidance protecting trans students, we collected over 4,400 stories from students, their parents, educators, and administrators about why trans student protections are so crucial. And we shared these stories face to face with Secretary DeVos in a meeting with trans students and their families. NCTE and transgender people are facing a fight unlike any we've seen before, but we are still optimistic. When they try to roll back our progress, we'll fight to keep our victories intact and bend the arc further towards equality. When they attack our most vulnerable, we'll educate schools, police departments, and health insurance companies to ensure protections. When they misuse the media to spread lies and breed hate, we'll give trans people and their families a platform to change hearts and minds with powerful storytelling. NCTE will not back down. We have not come this far to only come this far. We fight to move transgender rights forward. We fight to move them forward together.